Hi there, my name is Sam and thanks for joining us on another episode on our channel. Today I've got Cass with me. Now Cass has been a friend of mine for the last 10 years and I'm always seeing if I could bring someone over to talk to them about their experience taking lessons. Now Cass has a unique view on driving lessons because he shares something that I have as well, that my wife's a driving instructor and recently Cass's wife is also an instructor.
That's
but
right.
I would say, how long has it been since?
So my wife has been a driving instructor. She's actually very, very new. So within the last 6 months.
Okay.
So it's quite new. But there's a lot that I've learned about driving instructors because for my sins, I have to manage everything on her behalf. So yeah, she's focused on giving lessons and I'm managing the back end of the business. Not by choice.
And if you remember, Cass, prior to your wife becoming an instructor, me and you were just constantly talking about what she needs to do, what she needs to cover, because, I just want to let you know, a lot of people don't realize that, the cost of becoming an instructor is astronomical. It's not just taking the test, but every lesson, it's at a premium price. You're not paying the regular
Absolutely.
price for a driving lesson. Because you're being taught by an ADI instructor, it's a lot more, and it could go up. Well, it goes up in the thousands anyway, but it depends on how many lessons you need to take. And we'll go in a little later on about the different parts that you need to become a driving instructor. But before then, I just want to get an idea from Cass, right? Back when you were taking lessons, how long ago was this? And I know this is revealing your age, but
Must have been more than 10 years ago. If I can remember correctly, yeah. So probably around about 10 years ago, I passed my driving test. I think it was South Yardley Test Centre.
I have to ask, right, and we could edit this if you want to, right? How many tests did you take before you passed?
I passed on my second attempt. Apparently on my first one, I was driving too slowly. But
It's amazing what they consider minors and serious, right? And I'm sure they're mostly, by and large, the same. But I think back then would you say they were more scrutinizing the way we drove?
I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not, but I'm going to go out and say it anyway. I think there are certain test centres which are a lot more stricter than others. And sometimes it's certain examiners as well. So I've started to notice a lot of that trend right now than I did back then. As being a learner, you probably won't predict. So if you're a learner watching this right now, my recommendation would be do your research. There are stats available online where you can find, what is the average pass rate for each test centre. That could make a big impact, especially when you go in to try and pass your test. And even tests nowadays are so difficult to get test dates.
No, absolutely.
It's an absolute nightmare.
But I have a concern with that. Now, you're right. Each test center has a particular performance on how many pass rate that they have per center. So if booking a test is that difficult, and it is difficult, by the way.
Yep.
If you are booking a test center at a different place for the sake of booking a test, you're not that familiar with the route. You have to get familiar with that test center's route. Isn't that any disadvantage to?
No, I disagree. I disagree. The basics on a learner driver, you've got, from my knowledge, 12 minor mistakes that you can make on a test. Okay. If you're going to become a driving instructor, you've got 6. Okay, so the margin is a lot lower. Okay, so the main thing your examiner is looking for is how safely you drive. Now, if that examiner said turn left and you decided to go straight, you're not going to get penalised for that as long as you did it safely. So regardless of whether you're familiar with the route or not, as long as you've got attention to detail, you're conscious of your surroundings, you should pass. Even if you're out of the area, even if it's a route that you don't know. Examiners, mostly, although they have to some degree a route that they will take you down, it's not always one same route. That might be a mixture of 2, 3 different routes. They may take you down one route and a different route to come back. So you may not be familiar with the area or that route anyway.
I could see the argument, but I still feel, no, first of all, if you're a good driver, you should be able to drive in any circumstances. I completely agree with you. Sometimes, especially for a new driver, an instructor is always preparing them or making them that could anticipate this is what's going to happen when you're on this junction with the examiner. Aim for this. This is what they're going to ask you. So when they're a little bit more prepped, or they could foresee a situation happening, and the instructor's informing them of it, they're just recycling that in their mind. But I do agree with you. If they could drive here, they should be able to drive anywhere.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing is, it's the way of teaching. So, for example, when my wife is giving lessons, she noticed that a lot of learners on roundabouts will count the exits of a roundabout. Okay?
Correct, yeah.
So that's quite normal practice. They'll count the exit of a roundabout. What generally happens when a learner is counting the exits on a roundabout, if there's a no entry, they will count that as an exit as well.
Right, okay.
So they're more prone to making a mistake. So as long as the driving instructor is conscious that these are the possible mistakes of teaching in this way, and to educate their learners that, okay, although counting is good, you still need to pay attention.
Sure,
then they can avoid those sort of errors. So my wife's learner recently, she failed the first test because she made that mistake despite the instructor teaching, my wife teaching her, not to always count, not just to count, but also keep an eye on the road and look out for road signs. As long as you're getting taught by the right type of instructor that has that knowledge, they're qualified to teach, you'll be absolutely fine as a learner going in for a test. My advice, if you're going to go for a test, book that in as soon as possible and plan your lessons. What I do see a lot of nowadays is learners are paying an arm and leg for a test to try and get a test date really early, through means that you shouldn't probably do, but unfortunately learners are helpless in that situation right now. But what they don't consider is, if I've booked a test, I need to make sure that I've got regular lessons, because if they don't have those regular lessons, what ends up happening is they lose the momentum and the knowledge.
Absolutely.
And on test day, they will panic. They will
Yeah,
stress out.
my missus, she gets the same, where they've covered all the topics, they've covered all the categories, and my missus has given them a thumbs up, you're doing really good. But they booked the test 2 months away, 8 weeks away. So, well, I'll stop and pause. Yeah. But you're right, the momentum goes, they do forget some of the maneuvers. So they do have just to let you know, Kaz, they do have a refresher's course, right? But sometimes you feel like you've missed out a lot of things that we taught them, and go, well, what happened to your mirror signal maneuver? What happened to your, moving into the oncoming traffic? So sometimes my wife goes into a little bit of a panic, like, wait a minute, you've got your test, we need to book you in a few more tests than just waiting. Because, normally whenever a test happens, right before a test, they have a couple of hours lesson just so that there's a bit of a refresher. And I think that, and I don't think it's the fault of the learner, because they could only book a test when it's available to them. In an ideal situation, they like to book a lesson in the course of their teaching experience, really. Which brings me on to my next question. I think we spoke about this briefly, where you were saying about the way learners being penalized.
Yes.
And I was contesting that, well, you don't want any bad drivers, but at the same time, if you're too harsh on the learner, you might sort of, they might have a disdain, a view of driving as a whole. It might be too risky. So what's your thoughts on that?
So it's a bit of a tricky one. First of all, I passed as a fairly young driver. Now, the problem I had was that although I passed, I couldn't afford the insurance. So,
sorry, were you raring to go? So you passed your test. You couldn't wait.
I wanted to start driving, but my insurance premiums were an absolute fortune. So guess what? I waited till I was 25, 26, 27 before I got my first car. The problem I had, as soon as I got behind that wheel, I had no idea what I was doing. I was driving recklessly, and within 6 months I had my first accident, and that was because I was out of touch. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't remember the right sort of methods of teaching that I was taught by my instructor, mirror signal maneuver, or whether it's, the signs, look out for the road markings. And I think that's quite detrimental. A lot of the things that the government have put in place around younger drivers and expensive insurance premiums, all that does is when a learner passes, they put a hold on them actually driving. And when they do actually start to drive, they don't really think about having a refresher course like me. They just get behind the wheel and start driving, thinking it's muscle memory, or will just come to them. And that's where the accidents really happen. I think the government needs to start considering how do we bring those insurance premiums down? So if somebody's passing, they get behind the wheel almost straight away, or they don't even do it. My recommendation, if you can't afford the insurance, maybe it's not the right time for you to go for driving lessons. Wait, because when you learn how to drive, you want to get behind that wheel so you can keep that going. Now, I've been driving for 10 plus years. Now, I'm confident in my driving, but because I've been doing it every day, and that's the most important thing. Penalising younger people, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky subject. I think we'll probably leave the whole debate for another day.
I think that's definitely for another video. But I think I agree with you in regards to having a refresher course. But it's that limbo that you're in as a learner, that I've already paid for my lessons, I passed out, why do I need to continue? I think it's that mindset without them realizing how important it is. So, but anyway, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll do more videos on getting an idea of how people found their driving experience during their time. Thanks very much. See you soon.